You went in like this. I'm like in the background.
Photo bombing.
Now you notice. Let's go ahead and start.
Yeah.
I am Lance.
And I'm Mike.
And we're just these guys,
What's happening?
Well, Mike, first, you may have noticed or not noticed that the microphones are staggered here.
Didn't even notice.
See that offset?
Yeah.
It's because when we're on that camera,
Mm-hmm.
you're what, 6'3", 250, linebacker material?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. And so when I'm looking at the video editing it, you're this monster towering over me. And I'm like, oh my God. So I backed you up a little bit to bring a little better perspective to the video here. So that's why you're stuck over there in the corner.
Well, actually, I've had people ask me just how tall you are. And I said, he's like 5'1". It's not that I'm so tall. He's really super short.
Lance is
No, I
super
get that. It's just a weird angle from the camera. But I did notice that. I liked it. See, I don't know why you why you messed with it.
I feel so big when I'm in here. Now, the audience, the viewing audience is going to know something already that you don't know.
Okay.
I've prepared a special coffee for you today.
Oh.
I filmed what I put in it. So those who are watching this morning, they're sitting there with great anticipation to see your reaction.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to add the main ingredients together right here in front of you.
Okay.
And then I want you to taste it.
Once again, Fear Factor.
Fear Factor.
Java.
You got to hold it right up here. There we go. Now, take a moment to enjoy the aroma.
Let the ingredients meld.
Let me prepare my coffee.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Folgers.
So, what do you think? How's it taste?
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. La da da da. Remember that old song?
Anticipation. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
The best part of waking up is Lance's coffee in your cup.
Woo! He's taking a sip and he's contemplating, tasting. He's got a good look on his face, wide-eyed.
That's good.
Is that good?
Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is there no coffee in that?
Probably not.
That's good. A lot of cinnamon, sugar.
It's a cappuccino.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yeah.
it has Karen's condensed milk that you love so much. It has a little cinnamon. You've mentioned loving that as well.
It's half gone already.
And a scoop of ice cream. I knew. You don't like coffee. You
The
like
sweeter
milkshake.
it gets, the better.
There's a little left in the cup of preparation there.
You're absolutely right. I'm really not a coffee drinker. I'm a milkshake in a cup drinker, basically.
So just
good though.
Just finally give it up. You're not a coffee drinker.
No, I guess not.
And just start making, protein shakes every morning. So you're a health nut. See how that works?
So when I go into, I totally spun that into a positive. When I go into like Quick Trip, I will go straight to the cappuccino machine. Here's exactly the blend. It's 3/4 cappuccino, French vanilla cappuccino, and then I'll go over to the coffee because I want to make sure that I'm still maintaining some of my manhood.
Right.
And I'll put in like a nice Colombian blend, about a 2-second pour. Then I actually go over to the slushy coffee machine, and I put some cold iced coffee in it, slushy. It's again a cappuccino. And put that in to cool it down so I don't burn my
Biscuits.
manly tongue. And that's what I end up with. You're right. I'm really not a coffee drinker. I've always thought I was.
You heard it here first today, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is coming to realize
good,
something about himself. It's about gone. Oh my God.
And I re-poured even.
You're chugging.
Grief. If you just hear Lance talking for about a 5-minute session here, you'll know I'm no longer at the mic and I am.
That's a sign of a good coffee.
Yeah. It's true. You got anything to read in there?
You carry on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do have something to bring to the table that if you don't want to talk during this part.
Well, bring it.
A couple of people approached me this past week. You talked about people hitting you up randomly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It happened again.
Oh, tell me. Do tell.
It's like every week somebody will come up to me. This was on Sunday at church. A couple that I had introduced the book to several months ago. I mean, at least half a year ago, probably. Said they just are loving the podcast.
Wow.
And I don't know why. I don't know why it still is kind of like, really? That's awesome. I should be like, great. I'm glad you found it. Yeah. They love it. And
really?
And he says to me, and dude, I'm gluten free.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? Yeah. And he says, I feel great.
Yeah.
Telling you.
It's amazing. And people think you got to give up stuff. And of course, in the world of positive thinking, it's not about what you don't got. It's what you do got.
Yep.
Can't eat, can eat. But what have you lost? Right.
Nothing but bad.
Well, I mean, I go to Taco Bell, I get a bowl.
Yep.
Just leave the flour tortilla aside. They sell a bowl.
Yeah. But
and
the
you
thing
actually
is,
get more when you buy
and
the
you
bowl.
can eat corn shells all day long.
Oh, yeah. Corn.
So
Fritos, Cheetos, gluten-free.
Oh, heck yeah. And the thing is, once you do this and you get rid of the gluten in your diet and you feel so good, if you want to know just how good you actually do feel, eat some gluten. It'll quickly show you.
Quickly. And it doesn't take a lot.
No, it doesn't. It takes just a little bit. And all of a sudden you get this crappy feeling. Your back starts to hurt. At least that's where it goes for me.
Me too. Me too.
So congratulations. That's Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Gluten-free.
America.
America.
One guy walked up and looked me in the eye, and that eye look where you don't know if he's about to pull out a gun or, that wild-eyed look.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen it before.
A couple times.
Yeah. He looked me in the eye for a long second and said, "This is revolutionary."
Yeah, so simple.
He
Yet
said, "I'm
revolutionary."
getting an understanding of and being aware of my thoughts.
Yeah.
He was telling me, I never knew you could think about what you were thinking and then actually change it.
Yeah.
And to him, revolutionary.
You bet.
And then a lady who riddled with anxiety, gone through a lot of this stuff on the podcast and everything. And she came out the other side and said, there was an incident that occurred that 6 months ago would have caused a lot of drama amongst herself and her friends.
Mm-hmm.
And she said it went so smoothly, I didn't recognize it. And she said, when it hit me, how well I handled that moment, I said, wow, I win.
Yeah.
And she smiled. She said, wow, I win. Why doesn't everyone learn to think this way?
Yeah. And this is not new advice.
No.
Take every thought captive. Where did we hear that?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like revolutionary.
Take every thought captive.
And yeah, it's been right here in front of us the whole time.
Whatever. In all situations, whatever is lovely or positive, think on these things. It's like I took a class in college, I remember once, that was just absolutely useless.
Yeah.
But I decided I'm going to be in this class, so I'm going to walk out of here with the command of this part of the book. Now, the rest of the book, what the professor had to teach about, all the extra assignments and stuff, I could care 2 cents worth. But since I'm here, I'm going to walk away with this. And the crazy thing is if I didn't have to take that class, I would not have signed up for it. But I can tell you right now that I used the material I gathered in that class every single day. Every day. Every day. And it was because I found something in the book, I found something in the material that I wanted to know about, I could learn about. I chose that. I wouldn't have taken the class, but I'm like, okay, if I'm going to take this class, I want to learn about this.
Yeah.
And so every time, you have any questions out there? Yes, sir. I have one right here. And I would take them back to that topic.
Yeah.
And I'd study that part of the book, do the other stuff enough to pass the test, but I would go get additional books on that particular topic. And whatever you think about is what you're going to create.
You bet. Heck yeah. 2 paths we can take. You had there was a fork in the road right there for you. You could either take I can't believe I have to take this class and why, what a waste of time. That's one path. And again, the other path was, what do I want?
Yeah.
I want to learn something. I want this to be a positive experience. And really the intentionality of that is what locked it into your memory, because you were also able to ask questions specifically to what you were wanting to learn. It's an amazing thing. And that translates to every aspect of our lives. It really does.
And for the newbie, for the beginner, it is just deceptively, sinisterly subtle how quick we can go back to the old way.
Oh, it's actually something that I'm finding myself. I'm having to learn to take every thought captive, and I'm doing that every day. It's an active process. It's an active daily from the morning, from the get-go. But I'm telling you, it's amazing how much.
Tell me about what happened to your brain when the radio station said, "Hey, can you guys come and let me interview you?" Where'd your brain go and how fast did it go there?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, immediately it went. Okay, so what's the catch?
Yeah.
What is this all about?
Yeah.
It's
quick.
Yeah, you're right. But I had come full circle. Just to, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back and break my own arm. But
I brought it up because I saw you do that.
Yeah, as you, I'm sure we're thinking, okay, well, I'm going to have to talk this guy off the cliff. I had come full circle back around to the positive aspect of the opportunity before the phone call was placed.
Sure.
Lance said, hey, well, I'll call you here in just a little bit. And so I was, just kind of processing through it. And I would have stayed firmly planted in the, what the heck is this all about? But it's an opportunity that we're going to have to go on to a local radio station and do a morning show session.
Sure.
And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
We'll bring them our brand. Just these guys.
Just these guys. Yeah, but I immediately, as soon as Lance shared the opportunity that was there, I immediately went to, okay, well, what's their agenda all about? What are these guys all about? What are they going to? What do they want to argue about?
What are they trying to
I'm
set
learning.
us up for?
I'm a slow learner, but I'm learning.
And it's, get back up. How fast you get back up.
Mm-hmm.
You stay on the ground. How fast you get back up. And that's the same thing. That's what I tell people is, as you learn to do this, it may take you 2 or 3 days to be able to catch the negative thinking, the different skills we've talked about, and bring it back and say, okay, let me rethink that. And that's why I give a homework assignment and I sit down at the end of the evening, think back through your day, pick one, rewrite it, rethink it.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is not to be perfect. I shouldn't say should. The goal is to catch them more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people it take 2 or 3 weeks, and then after a while it takes them a week, and then after a while, it takes a couple of days. And all I saw happen for you was it took about 5 minutes
Sure.
for
Yeah.
you to go the old route for a second,
Yeah.
catch it, stop yourself, rethink, and then
Yeah.
come back at it fresh. So as those two start getting closer and closer together, there's going to come a moment, and you've seen some of them, where it just flips, where knuckleheads are out in the street firing off fireworks, and you're walking out there watering down the bonfire in your pickup.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no complaining, no.
Yep.
Get off my lawn.
You get off Bob Dole's yard.
They're setting fireworks off out there. Let me go hose down the pickup, honey.
Yeah. But really the idea of becoming proficient in taking negatives and turning them into positives is really it's a part of the whole experience. And so recognizing that you were, headed into the negative and then turning it into a positive it's really a blessing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that I would necessarily want to just be, pie in the sky. Everything's positive all the time without a recognition of that how it could be if I was thinking the old way. I think I want to hold on to that.
Well, this is the thing. It's not rainbows and unicorns.
Right.
But it's the freedom that comes with the new way of thinking. So like for me, for example, I have a couple of pet peeves that I still work on, and people point them out to me when they see them. Traffic, drive 40 in the fast lane.
Sure. Yeah.
See if I don't start squeezing the steering wheel. But when I'm thinking, they should get in the right-hand lane, they shouldn't be in the left-hand lane, they should speed up, whatever. I'm getting frustrated and angry. Now, at the times when I'm not thinking that way, at the times when I'm just like, I want to get home, I want to, let's see what's going on at the movie theater day. I'm driving along and I get to enjoy the drive. And so I experience the moment that's available to me when I think in this new way of thinking. Life comes alive. Look, there's a new restaurant in town over there, because I'm not tailgating the guy in front of me, honking my horn. Get out of my way.
Yeah.
You're taking 10 seconds off my drive home. So there's a freedom that comes that we experience. Now, there is an appreciation factor that, in the past, this drive would have been miserable for me. I'm so glad to be able to drive comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's for the listener who's stuck on that word positive. It's not about happy, happy, joy, joy. It's about solutions. It's about enjoying the moment. It's about being able to relax and think about important things, which we will talk about today. Here's
Wonderful.
our show prep. A thought came up, scribbled it down.
Major show prep.
You asked me to remind you of something this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I am now reminding you.
Well, so my life consists of a constantly running segment of what I call she's so damn right. And that's a combination of she's so smart and she's so right.
This is like a sitcom.
Yes, it is. But she's
Constantly running
so damn
segment.
right. And I'm talking about Dawn. Now, that's a positive statement, by the way. Well, we had gotten a summons
Uh-oh.
on our door
Uh-oh.
to show up in court.
Uh-oh.
And so when you first open a summons
Sure.
that has been delivered to your door,
Sure.
it's a little unnerving. Even though I've never actually been sued for anything, it's still unnerving when you see the word summons
Yeah.
at the top. And so I looked down just a little ways to figure out, well, who's up against me? Who's suing me? I see the name. Well, I don't want to say the name, but it's
Okay.
the guy that we bought the house from back in 2004.
What?
Yeah. Well, it's something
2004.
to do with a small town out in eastern Kansas. And so anyway, so this guy that we bought the house from has apparently got an issue going on out there. So I thought, well, I'm going to call this attorney place
Sure.
and let them know you got the wrong address.
Yeah.
And by the way, this dude was like 93 back in 2004 when we bought the house
so the
from him.
summons wasn't for you.
Exactly.
It was for
we got nothing
somebody
to do
else.
with it. Yeah. So, but I'm trying to do the right thing and just let him know. This is he don't even live here, and if he's still alive, by the way, I want to know because I want to shake this dude's hand. He's like 113.
So to recap, you open the envelope, you have a panic attack. Somebody's suing us.
Right.
And then you realize it's the
Not
previous
even
one. Yeah, okay.
not even us.
Okay, I follow now. I
Okay.
follow now.
Gotcha. And so I'm trying to call this place. They're not answering the phone. Their system is really confusing. And so after about the third time, I was telling Don, I say, these folks, I'm just going to give up on this. They're not even answering my phone calls. I don't know what the heck's going on here. I'm not even going to worry about
Sure.
it. She goes, well, just let it go. And I was like, okay. Well, the next day we get a postcard in the mail reminding us about the summons. And I'm like, okay, even though this doesn't have anything to do with us, I'm going to go ahead and give it one more try. I'm going to give him a call.
In my mailbox.
Well, Dawn says this to me. She says, why don't you just take the postcard and write on the postcard, not at this address, return to sender, put it in the mailbox, quit worrying about trying to call them. And I was like, that makes no sense whatsoever. What good is that going to do? That's not what they need. They need to know that I'm going to call them one more time. So I call them. I go out and I sit on our little porch swing out on the front porch. And I'm sitting there, and I finally get through to this lady. And as I'm talking to this lady on the phone, explaining how they're trying to find this dude who's like 113 years old, Dawn comes walking out of the house, and she's got this postcard in her hand, and she's strolling down to the mailbox.
Sure.
She puts this postcard in the mailbox with return to sender, not at this address on it, and she turns around, and at the exact same time, this lady is saying to me, here's all you got to do. Right on that postcard, return to sender, right on there, not at this address. That's exactly what we need. Send it back to us, and we're good to go. So it's exactly at the same time as she's saying that, Dawn turns around. And if you can picture Bo Derek, I know I'm aging myself, but come walking up out of the water. Just so beautiful. Now, this is minus the cornrows and the golden swimsuit.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Yeah, she was not.
What is Dawn wearing around the house and in the neighborhood?
Yep, she was just in her work attire, but she looked so smart. And so I'm just going to sexy smart is what it was. And she's walking towards me. And what I started laughing, and this lady was like, what's so funny? And I said, my wife she's just so damn smart. She is so damn right. Every time. And I was just laughing, and then she started laughing. The lady on the phone started laughing. And then Dawn finally gets up to where I'm sitting, and she goes, that's exactly what she told you, isn't it? See, it's so damn right. It could literally be, if not a weekly, a daily episode in my life. She is so damn right. So I just thought I would share that.
I'm picturing those old 70s sitcoms.
Yeah.
Edith!
Yeah. Oh, gee. Yeah. Oh, man. You want to know one more thing?
Sure.
Because I think this right here, this will save some marriages. We're going to talk about what'd you call it last week with the filter thing? It was a professional or a pro tip?
A pro tip.
It a pro tip.
Yeah.
Here's a pro tip. This is a pro tip. I'm telling you right now, this will save some marriages, so pay attention. If either of you at night tend to snore,
Sure,
a little or a lot,
sure,
and it has any impact at all on the quality of sleep that either of you have, I've got your solution. And here it is right here. For our viewing audience, you're going to be able to see this. For the folks that are not or are just listening, see that little thing right there?
Sure.
That is an anti-snore device.
May I borrow that, please?
That you actually clip into your nose. So immediately, if you're like me, you're thinking, there ain't no way I'm going to be able to sleep with something clipped into my nose. We can take it out of The deal, you can let me do that if you want.
Okay, so you don't put that whole honking piece of plastic in your nose.
Here, I'm going to put it on there and I'm going to show. That's how important this is. No.
I'm like,
Yeah. You're going, what?
how do you get that in the nostril?
I'm going to go over to the camera real quick.
Okay.
See, it has a little hinge.
I see that. Looking good.
Just like that.
That's it.
And that right there, you won't snore. We both had these on last night. There were 2 different occasions where I had to check and see if she was still breathing.
Well, you don't snore because
she was so quiet.
You're awake with pain.
Yeah. No, we slept. We slept so good.
Can I borrow
We
that?
slept so good that we actually, yeah. This is one of those things you might want to get your own.
Let me try that on.
We slept so good that we had to put a noise machine on.
I want to give it a test run before I spend my money.
Yeah.
Really?
The noise that we put on, it's ironic, was snoring.
Now, Dawn was just wearing it to make you feel okay, right? Because she doesn't snore.
She was. Well, yeah, it was a sympathy.
You're right, right.
Deal.
It's a sympathy deal.
No, heck no. She doesn't snore at all. But here's where you can get it.
Sure.
Online. Straight from China. It's very, matter of fact, I took a picture of the box. You can get like 6 of these for like $10.
Why do you need 6?
Just in case you got 5 friends who snore. These are marriage-saving devices.
Fall into your mouth and you.
Yeah, these are not just.
These are marriage-saving
get rid
devices.
of snore. This is. I'm telling you right now, that's an amazing thing right there. So that's your value addedness for the show today.
Well, I will
be.
I will be ordering one because. I don't believe it, but I've been told on occasion I snore.
Yeah. Well, and here's the craziest thing. I thought there's no way I could even get used to that. Well, there were several instances where I actually had to feel it to see if it was actually still there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you walked out of the house like a quick trip.
Yeah.
And people just thought, well,
you could.
He's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying to get with the young folks.
If you've ever been told that you have a deviated septum, this is for you.
Ah.
It's just straightens stuff out in there. Dude, I honestly don't know exactly how it works, but there was not one time where I heard her or she heard me, and speaking for myself, I can make some noise. So that's, yeah, if you want to save your marriage, we'll put, so I took a picture, we'll put it up, and you'll know exactly what to look for. Anti-snore device. It's a little nose clip that works amazingly well.
We'll be ordering that, and we might even put a link down below.
There you go. Make life nice and simple.
Marriage saving device. Clip.
That's what it is. And once again, she found this and was smart enough to order it up. And I love it. Love it.
So I got to stop him snoring or strangle him, one or the other.
One or the other. Yeah.
That's probably the Google search.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep from strangling your husband?
Yeah.
Buy him a snore clip. Oh, whew.
Yeah, I've got a lot of examples of things where she has just helped me to. She even helped me to just even stay alive this week.
Really?
Yeah. So everything that I do on the house is in steps, and each step, they're like baby steps. You don't even know where I'm going. Yeah, you just know me.
Mike with a tool belt.
So one of the things, I like to consider myself fairly handy.
Sure.
And so I have a couple of outlets that I wanted to switch out this week. And these are 2 outlets that I wanted to switch out 3 months ago.
Lord help me.
Yep. Well, the first step is buy the outlets.
Sure.
Like, A week later, the next step is remember you bought the outlets and actually take them out of the car and put them in on the counter. And then the next step is quit looking at them on the counter and like 3 weeks later decide I'm going to install these things. But I'm in a hurry. I got things to do and I don't want to take too much time.
Because that decision to install the new electrical outlets always comes up when you're supposed to be at work.
Yep.
You're heading out the door.
Yep. But you're finally tired of being told you should install those outlets. And so I just decided, okay, I'm going to do this real quick.
Don,
real quick.
Ease your frustration and simply say to Mike, Mike, I would like for you to get those installed today.
You know what I want? Well, real quick doesn't include, shutting the electricity off. And that's...
I don't need to shut this off.
Yep.
I can do this.
That's the first... bad choice. And so the very first wire that I snipped, I was obviously holding on to whatever was going to ground me right into the whole house. And I had electricity shooting through me, and that's 110. Thank goodness it was 110. But I mean, it was zapping me pretty dang good. I wouldn't want it to do that again. And so finally, and sparks are flying. Like it was just, there's a on my clippers, there's a actual, like a spark burnt spot on it. So they go flying, and Dawn's watching this whole thing. She's watching this whole thing. She knows how I can best learn lessons.
Out. Get it on the kitchen table.
Yeah. And so the thing goes flying. Now, here's the good news. When something like that happens, it tends to trip the breaker.
That's their design.
That's the best news of the day. 'Cause then,
somebody was thinking ahead.
Yeah. So then I could finish with the other 3 wires that I had to clip with the breaker flipped.
That was all part of the plan.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down in the basement to throw the breaker. I'm just going to grab here.
Saved me a trip.
It'll throw itself.
Mm-hmm. But the other good news is apparently my ticker's not in too bad a shape.
It just got some exercise.
Oh, yeah. But I got it installed, went down, flipped the breaker, and the outlet works. And the other one still needs to be installed because it's on a different breaker, and I didn't want to have to go find it.
Do you need to throw the breaker for that? No.
It'll pop once I cut this wire.
Watch this.
So for you,
honey,
out there,
hold my gluten-free beer and watch this.
Yeah,
I'm going to teach you something.
That's not the recommended way to do that. I should have been filming it for a YouTube video. Oh, it was startling.
I laugh because I care.
Yeah. I've never really liked dealing with electricity. I don't know why the heck I thought I was going to be so brave.
Oh.
Yeah.
Laugh because I've been there. So
yeah.
Go down to the basement, throw the breaker, or just be real careful. I could just be real careful.
Let's brave it. Yeah. Not smart. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how we segue into an actual topic for the show today so that people get some value added out of this other than...
What are you talking about? We saved marriages.
We saved lives.
Yeah, we saved lives. Don't do what we do.
We shared a wonderful morning... I mean, what do you call it? It's not coffee. Morning breakfast drink. A morning drink.
So much value to this time.
Ice cream and cappuccino. Perfect.
Which it's gone, and I don't have a caffeine high, but I'm pretty sure this sugar high is kicking in pretty good.
Hey, how you doing?
Go change some outlets now.
I'm gonna be like a squirrel.
Yeah. Well, what is it that you had in mind when we were going to start this?
Well, what I was thinking about is as the week unfolds. You listen to the news
a little bit.
See it on TV, see it in your podcast or your Facebook feed. I don't know where people get their news these days.
Mm-hmm.
Read news, hear it. And what struck me, because somebody was talking to me about the mayoral race coming up and how the candidates are saying, we're going to make the city safe. We're going to get crime under control, and we're going to make the water flow smoothly.
Is that your Lily Wu voice? Or?
No, my Lily Wu voice. But he pointed out, he said, that's a given. I mean, that's your job.
Right.
That's what a mayor and a city council are. That's like saying, I'm going to go to college and get a D.
Sure.
You're not giving me anything to vote for.
Sure.
And that's kind of what got my brain to spinning as he was describing that we set our goals with other people as the basement. You know, would you enter a marriage if your wife said, honey, I promise this entire marriage I will never fool around on you? Okay, well, that's a given. If we're going to get married, that's like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Literally a law. That's your. And as I started thinking about it, the things we are attracted to in life, we root for success. We root for champions. We root for people, you know, going above and beyond the expected. And we are so, and this is where we live our life one way, but then we intentionally or unintentionally don't live our life the same way in the areas where it matters. But think about football.
I just was, yeah.
What value, literally, what value does a sport bring to the family, the community, the country? None. There's absolutely no tangible value to watching a team play a game on the field, but we love it. And you know, if you've ever seen the England with the soccer, I mean, they are bananas over it, and they will work in the factory all day, save up their money all week, and then go to one of these games and just lose their mind. We will buy thousands of dollars of Patrick Mahomes gear,
yeah,
and with the foam finger, and we'll sit in our living room and scream at the TV, go team, and we root for them, and we get excited for them because they've put a hope in front of us that they're going to achieve something. And then we turn around and we have zero dreams in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We have zero dreams in our lives. We approach our job with no motivation, no thought that we could be promoted, no thought that we could move to a different company, move up the chain, no thought about, you know, getting extra education to become better at what we do, no thought about starting our own company. We approach our relationships the same way. You know, we get into the relationship, and that's, you know, a man thing. You know, it's about the conquest. We got the girl. Now that we got the girl, we're done.
Sure.
And, you know, you knew this about me when you married me. You knew I played golf 17 times a week when you married me. We have no vision for how great things can be. Now, why this was clicking for me, other than the misery we live our lives in, because most people can walk around and live a life where go to work, look forward to Friday night, woohoo, and Sunday football, woohoo, and they go back to work, and that's the American dream. But when you get another person involved, whether it's work or church or a relationship, and that's what you're communicating to them, why in the world would they be with you? Why in the world would they follow you?
Sure.
We follow people who have visions. We follow people who have dreams, a better future, a better tomorrow. You know, Reagan love him or hate him, one of the things that I know about him, I saw an interview with a guy who worked with him for many, many, many years, but he had the speech. And from 1964 until his last day in office, for, you know, what was that, 25, 30 years he was in politics?
Yeah.
He had the same speech.
Mm-hmm.
Tweaked it a little bit here and there, but it was a vision. The city, the shining city on the hill, the hope, the dream. Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
I have a dream. And we've got a statue of the guy up now because he was such a powerful leader and spokesman, and he gave people hope and energized them.
Yep.
John F. Kennedy in the 60s with the world falling apart and us at the brink of nuclear war and Vietnam going on and hippies in the street and chaos and culture. Let's put a man on the moon. You know, we gravitate to people who can articulate a vision to us. But in order to articulate that vision to somebody else, that seed has to first sprout in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking, how many times do we squelch our dreams? That seed pops up. Hey, you know, maybe I could learn to play guitar. And then 82 voices come at you. Yeah, but you're busy. Yeah, but you can't do this. Yeah, but you can't do that. And you tried 20 years ago, and it'll never happen now. And then we don't pursue it. And then what do we have to offer to somebody else?
Yeah.
We, as a human race, as people, we want vision, we want dream, and we look for it elsewhere, and we will find anything. I see people bet on cockroaches in the Navy. Like, okay, I got a bigger cockroach. He's going to be faster than yours. You know, here's a quarter. They just want to see success, but I don't know what happens when we turn that towards ourselves in our own lives, that concept, that idea just disappears.
Well, I think that, again, these are not new ideas. These are not new, human issues. That when Solomon said that without vision, the people perish.
There you go.
That he knew exactly that we need what you're talking about. We need vision. We need goals. We need direction. That's why I so often will end up on a Sunday talking about, and with no plan of talking about it, it'll come eventually around to, if you are wondering who you are, if you're wondering where you're headed, if you're wondering why you're here, this is it. So the vision for me is that we live first and foremost because we are children of God, that we are co-heirs to the throne with Christ, and that is our purpose, to help others to find that direction. And so, yeah, it's on one hand, it's easier when you know what you can focus on for direction and for vision, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily make it any easier to walk it out. The intentionality of it, the understanding that first it does start right here. It always goes right back to thinking about what you're thinking about. And as soon as you begin to make that switch from the negative thinking to the positive thinking, then you've gotten on the right track to be able to go after a vision and to be able to go after it knowing the why, which is because you realize there's a better way.
Sure.
There's a bigger way. And all of that encompasses family, marriage, work, all of it. And what it actually does for me is it gives all of that purpose. It gives all of that vision. It gives all of that direction.
Well, in listening to you talk reminded me of a couple of people who I've seen walk this out. And for me, I can follow directions.
Yep.
You know, when I was in the Navy, I repaired electronics and mechanical stuff, typewriters, satellite gear, all sorts of electronics. Little secret, I don't understand electricity.
Me neither.
Obviously. But I can follow directions.
Sure.
So basic electronic theory, I'm not real good with.
Mm-hmm.
But if they say, turn the breaker off for you, I can do that. I can follow directions.
Right.
So when somebody says this is a key to success, do things consistently. Okay, well then I'll do it consistently because that is how those are the directions to follow. And that's why I developed the system that I did. Is you don't have to understand this stuff real deep, but every time you hear yourself say don't want, can't, stop and think about what you do want or can do. It's a very simple set of instructions to follow. You don't have to understand it to be able to do it, but once you do it, you might then begin to understand it.
Right.
And so a few years ago, I was listening to a couple of different pastors on YouTube because they're cool to listen to. But Creflo Dollar was explaining how his whole World Changers Church and everything kind of began. And it was him and his wife, and that was it. And they went to the bank. Here's what we want. And the bank said no. So they wrote their dream down of what they wanted to do, and they put it in a bag, and they prayed over it every day, and they take donation from here and there until they could buy this little plot of land. And they went out there just having bought the land, nothing else. They went out there with shovels and started digging. And we're going to build this church. And they had no money, they had no backing, they had no sponsorship, they had this dream.
Yeah.
And if you tune into Creflo's show and he's in that church, that's the church that he started to build with zero money.
Wow.
The worldly way is to go get the backers, get the funding, get the financing, get the architect, get all of that, and then go start digging the hole. He did it backwards. And then maybe you heard of this guy, Todd Michael Todd out of Tulsa.
Nope.
I'm going to send you a video.
Okay.
Now, here's how I found him. Every morning, Tish and I would get up with our actual coffee, wake up, listen to a little Bub Inspiration.
Yeah.
And then go about our day. Well, we ran out of Above Inspirations, and we're kind of thumbing through the YouTube channel, and there's this dude, Michael Todd, and we're like, look at each other. Yeah. So we listened to it, and the first 15 minutes of what we listened to, because it's about how long our coffee lasted, I was intrigued because he used an example of faith that I had used in the class 2 years ago. I'm like, hey, Michael Todd's stealing my material.
He's been watching your videos.
Watching so it was neat to see this, to see him use that specific example that I had used. And so we turned off, went about our day. And the next day, you want to finish his sermon? Yeah, let's go ahead. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. In the next 15 minutes, we were up air punching the air because of his dream. And I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I want you to see the last part of that sermon.
Gotcha.
He had a dream, and he had the faith to pursue the dream when everyone told him he was nuts. When he was nuts, and banks turned him down, and other people just shined him on. Oh yeah, Michael, that's a great idea. No, it's not.
Right.
But it's just so exciting. I had goosebumps as the video kind of wrapped up. I'm like, But what kind of dreams do you have? And this is a rhetorical question, but it's a question I want the audience members to ponder. Is what kind of dreams do you have for your life? What kind of dreams do you have? What are the things you want to see happen? And my encouragement to you is do it now. Don't wait for other things to line up to then pursue the dream. Begin pursuing it now. I don't care what it looks like, how impossible it looks now. Take that first step and begin pursuing that dream, and then take this huge risk of sharing your dream with other people. I want to learn to play the guitar. I want to travel one day. I want a better job. Allow that dream to be real, begin pursuing it, and share those thoughts with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And just see where it goes.
Kind of like, I want to do a podcast.
Yes.
Had I kept that just as a thought,
Yes.
nice and tucked away and protected in my non-committal part of my brain.
Yeah, I walk in, hey, Mike, how you doing? And that thought is in your brain, but you look at me and go, I'm good.
Yep. Got any ideas of what we could do? No, not really. How about if we do a podcast? How long ago was this now?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
You first said it a couple of years
Mhm.
ago. It was right before the pandemic, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then I mentioned it again. Probably about 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, 22 episodes in. And
This is episode 24.
22 that have been released, you're right.
Yes, 22 released.
And yeah. Had it not been
Had you not allowed that dream to come forward,
right,
had you not allowed yourself to say it out loud, nothing would have ever happened.
Yeah.
And you would have been in the later years, we were talking about Ericksonian psychology, looking back on life with regret.
You bet.
I always wanted to do a podcast, but I never did it. Dang it.
Right.
My life is nothing.
And so we're cutting that little clip out. So just to express for me personally the advantage of verbalizing that and again sharing it with somebody else that brings value to that's what's important. It doesn't do you any good to share your vision with somebody who is a negative nanny or a negative, and they're not going to help you to do anything with it.
Don't throw pearls to swine.
Right. Exactly. But I shared it with you.
Sure.
And you understood the vision behind it. And here's the deal. Selfishly, I really, really 100% see how it is improving my confidence in speaking. It's even improved, I feel, that it doesn't sound very humble to say this, but it has improved my messages on Sundays. It's helping me to process thought and attempt anyway to share it clearly. And it's just giving me confidence. And so I really appreciate the listeners. I appreciate what you have done with this because, again, Lance does the lion's share of the work behind this thing and on this thing. And so I really greatly appreciate it. But yeah, that's the idea of if you have a vision and you have an idea, verbalize it and then go for it.
Yes.
Do it now.
Do it now. There's that moment after you come up with an idea, kind of like with, I'll change the electrical outlets. So you take a week after the thought to swing by Lowe's, and you probably didn't actually go to Lowe's to get the electrical outlets. You were probably in there for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I was going to change those electrical outlets. Well, while I'm here, let me walk over to the electrical outlet aisle and get the outlets, throw them in the back of the car. In the end, after you got shocked,
right? Shocking experience.
After you creatively threw the breaker.
Yep.
How long did it take you to actually change the outlet?
Oh, like maybe not even 5 minutes.
Right. So when you're sitting there on the couch, you know how to change those outlets. Drive to Lowe's, pick them up, come back.
Yep.
10, 15 minutes.
Yep.
New outlets.
Yep. Do it now.
Or continue to watch golf.
Yeah.
That next 15 minutes of golf is going to be life-changing.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like our sliding glass door. I installed our sliding glass door, has to be at least 5 years ago now, that the packaging said that it was reversible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put it in, but turns out it's not reversible, and so it's just in upside down. It won't lock. And every time it rains, the bottom track fills up with water because the weep holes are at the top. Oh, I tell too much.
Yeah, that's why you own a shop vac.
We have a shop vac
You have a
sitting
shop vac, right?
right by the sliding glass door. Oh, it's sad, but it's true.
Well, if you want, I can get your model of door, and I can go read the instructions.
Yeah, and see if it actually is reversible.
What was the reversible element of this? What did they actually mean?
Yeah.
Oh, what a great show today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you hung around to this point.
Yeah.
Well, it is time to wind her down. Anything else you want to share with the audience, Mike? Or
Well, so we're getting ready to have a commercial that's going to come out here after a while, right?
Oh yeah, you and I
The one-
recorded a commercial this morning.
Yep. So it'll be out there will it be on Beanpod or?
Well, it'll first, I believe, appear on Podbean,
Okay.
and then where it goes from there, I'm not certain.
Okay.
But we can also take that commercial and make it into something for YouTube and Facebook and all those other
Gotcha.
thingies.
Something else to share that be able to find more folks that can find some value in what we're doing.
And a final example of the do it now
Mm-hmm.
is what we were talking about at the earlier part of the show. As I drive home, or when I drive to work in the morning, I have it on AM radio because I don't like the talk shows on FM, so I have them on AM. And there's this guy whose name escapes me right now, but on 1480 KQAM, Jeff. I think it's Jeff.
You want me to get it?
No. But 1480 KQAM, and when I drive to work every morning, they're interviewing different local people, because Jeff said, I came to town and I knew to Wichita. I didn't know what's going on, what to do. I wasn't really into the bar scene, so I started looking around for stuff to do. And I thought, hey, wouldn't that make a great show segment, is things to do around Wichita.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, see, today's Tuesday, so he said it on Wednesday, and then he said it again on Thursday. So if you have anything, here's my email. And the thought entered my mind, well, we're Wichita, and it's kind of something to do. It kind of fits in that box. So on a whim, Friday morning, I emailed him, hey, we do this podcast if you wanted to, let the audience know. He emails me back, when can we get together to interview you about it? So that's when I emailed you. You emailed me back. We talked on the phone. Agreed. I emailed Jeff, and before 2 or 3 hours went by, we got slotted for in-studio interviews on a radio station. Do it now.
Do it now.
You have a dream. Don't let the 800 doubts and worries and whatever's come into your mind. Just reach out and do it. See what happens. Maybe you get shocked. Or maybe you get an invite. And we got an invite. And so when you hear this podcast, it will already have occurred.
Mm-hmm.
But we will be appearing on the radio station to promote just these guys,
Heck yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, listen, thanks for tuning in. I am Lance.
And I'm Mike.
And we are just these guys, We will catch you next week.
Have an awesome week.
Thank you.